Lope Joero Ssenyonyi waliwo olutalo mu Parliament lwa Omusolo Omupya ate oguleeteddwa era ku basuubuzi naawe Munnayuganda. Omusolo guno gwa bukuli mungi era nga buli Munnayuganda w'oli olina okugusasula kubanga General Museveni agamba gavumenti ye bunno terina nsimbi. Kati Joero Ssenyonyi agusimbidde kuuli agamba nedda kikafuuwe ogwo omusolo gwenda kwongera okwonoona eggwanga lyaffe. Bannayuganda wedde bali mu kukaaba ate mubongerako omusolo mulala. Minisita alemeddeko agamba bagwetaaga kubanga nno gavumenti terina nsimbi era ebiwandiiko byaleese ebyekikumpanya byabadde aleeteddeko Joero Ssenyonyi abikubye olukumu mutwe n'abiyisaayisaamu amaaso nga byonna tebikwatagana n'agamba kikafuuwe ebyo byonna ebiwandiiko byaleese bya bubbi bya kiyaaye bya kiyeekera bya kikuusa tebigwanidde n'olwekyo ddamu ebiwandiiko mubikole bulungi mubireete bupya wadde situgenda kubawagira naye mubiteekebo nga mubikola mu mateeka okusinga okukola ebintu ebitali mu mateeka naffe kitukwatiremu munaffe twali mu Parliament neyisa ebintu ebitali mu mateeka omusolo ogutali mu mateeka neewongera ku Bannayuganda agambye kikafuuwe nze sigenda kubalibwa mu bintu bikoleddwa wabweru w'amateeka nze Joero waabwe n'oludda lw'enkulembera. Kale olutalo lunene eyo mu Parliament General Museveni bamusubya okuteekawo omusolo omulala. Joero Ssenyonyi Akubue Emeeza atugende ate tubirabe ebiriyo.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. As you mentioned, I was not able to attend the harmonization meeting, but again, I wanted to draw our attention to another small legal matter. The reason really I keep insisting on these legal matters, Right Honorable Speaker, is because I don't want that Parliament is taken to court and then we look shabby when we lose a matter on a technicality that could have been avoided. And good enough, my land friend, the Attorney General, is here, so we can find a remedy. I have an issue with the addendum because the law does not provide for an addendum in relation to the certificate of financial implication. When you read Section 76 of the Public Finance Management Act, when you read Rule 118 of our Rules of Procedure, it adumbrates very clearly what a certificate of financial implication should be. It does not make room for an addendum. But we can have a remedy. Rule 119 of our Rules of Procedure provides for urgent bills. Sub-Rule 1, whereupon the recommendation of the appropriate committee of the House appointed for the purpose, the House determines that a particular bill is of an urgent nature, the bill may be introduced without publication. So my suggestion is, as we did handle the RAPEX bills, and it's good Honorable Kasolo is here, we prevailed upon him and insisted he must follow the rightful procedure, which he eventually did. I want to suggest that we follow the procedure neatly. Honorable Minister, withdraw the bills via Rule 119, table them with the new certificate of financial implication. Because when you provide an addendum, somebody will go to court and challenge it and say, but especially for these controversial bills, because you're introducing a bill to increase taxes, which some of us are opposed to, many people out there are opposed to, you're going to be taken to, actually Parliament will be taken to court. My worry is that we here, Parliament, are the ones that will be taken to court as opposed to the minister, and there will be a challenge. Let's do this neatly. Table the bill again with the new certificate of financial implication via Rule 119, and then we debate and agree or disagree regarding the introductions that you are mooting. Of course, in our end we shall disagree, but ultimately that it gets to be done right. That's for me my point, yeah? So we have not even gotten to the stage yet of agreeing or disagreeing with the content. I'm putting you a notice, we are going to disagree with the content. But before we get there, let's follow the procedure the right way. That's my thinking, but the
Thank
Attorney General is here.
Asuman?
Right on, Speaker. I think let's help the Minister for Finance when it comes to matters of certificates. This issue of certificates, we first raised them in the Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee. Actually, we are the ones who informed the House that there was a problem with certificates. And along the way, you were doing things rightly. What you are calling an addendum, as the law has said, is not provided for in the law. In fact, what you are calling an addendum should have been tabled as the certificate. You didn't have to use the word addendum because it is the information. Addendum is a matter of form. The certificate is a matter of substance. I don't know why you want to take us back. So if what you are presenting captures what section 76 says, you only have to come here and say, this is the certificate for these bills, without even making statements that this is an addendum. I don't know why you are creating a problem for yourself. Just say, this is the certificate, and we are able to proceed without hiding under the word addendum or corrigendum.
You see, in the meeting that we had, we said there were things that were lacking in the certificates. And the issue that was raised was additional 1 year. And when you look at an addendum, it is an addition to what is provided for. Nathan.
Madam Speaker, thank you so much. Madam Speaker, it's unfortunate that on Friday we never presented a report of the meeting we held, but nevertheless, we all agree that the minister's certificate of financial implication was missing because the law says it should be 2 years. And also, I have done some analysis, and as the Honorable Osman has said, we need to help the minister. Number one, did we receive a budget here? Yes. And we received the budget. It has the expected income and the expected expenditure. Now, the income will come from so many forms: taxation, grants, loans, mention it. And we've been doing a lot of loans here. But the next one is taxation, which the minister is coming so that he operationalizes the budget, which you have received. So in short, the tax laws they are bringing are talking about the income side. And the URA already exists, which operates, uses those taxes. The government already exists. I don't think if the tax laws they are bringing are going to call for another authority to collect, because it talks about what does the bill, what will it be, the implication. And the implication is that the bill is talking about the budget, which budget will talk about how the government will raise the revenue and spend, and that's for the purpose of the country. So, Madam Speaker, what I wanted to say the minister to go over is that if the issue is the issue of addendum, the certificate of financial implication is basically, which me, if I was you, I would have said, one, the financial implications on this are already in the budget framework paper.
Yes.
And the MTF.
So this is additional.
Exactly. So, Madam Speaker, I don't know, I haven't looked at the financial implication of the minister.
First of all, was the first financial certificate laid on table? Certificate of financial implication? Was it laid?
Madam Speaker and honorable colleagues, the bills were all accompanied by the certificate of financial implications, which I laid on table.
Madam Speaker, colleagues, we need to look at the principle upon which the Public Finance Act was enacted. Sometimes we legislate without reading the Hansard. When Parliament decided to come up with the Public Finance Act, and in section 9, the idea of certificate of financial implication came about. It was to address two important issues. Worldwide, and this has been picked from the tradition. South Africa, we picked it from UK and Nigeria. And Honorable Dan Wandero Gallo, who had traveled too much, we discussed and proposed that we legislate here. We pass acts or bills which come into acts. Government fails to establish the necessary institutions and to implement the act. And therefore, it was agreed that every bill which comes here, they should be planned for it in the budget. But for the tax bills, like Honorable Nandala said, the institution that's supposed to implement it already exists, the Uganda Revenue Authority. So we don't need, by the way, we may need to look at this. For tax bill, Madam Speaker, the institution that's supposed to implement it, the entire infrastructure are in place. The staffs are there, the vehicles are there. This is just to support the budget process. So the provision of 76 in the Public Finance Act says that every bill introduced in the House shall be accompanied by certificate of finance issued by the minister. Number two, the certificate of financial implication issued under subsection 1 shall indicate the estimates of revenue and expenditure. For this purpose, we only need to look at the aspect of revenue. The aspect of and the revenue is indicated in the addendum the minister has presented. The aspect of expenditure is about the salary, the staff, Uganda Revenue Authority still exists. So while reading this, Madam Speaker, we have been, I think we need to look at the principle of the certificate of financial implication according to every bill. Some bills, the institutions are in place. Some bills, you need money to rent fees, to put directors, to put MD, to recruit staff. But for this, we only need to know how will it impact on the economy, the revenue, which is the addendum, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Let me hear from.
Right, Honourable Speaker, the Minister for Finance has said he did table a certificate, and it is on record, if I heard him well. I don't want him to create an impression that he can introduce another certificate. Those would actually be two certificates. And it would call for a withdrawal of one of them. And as I said earlier, we really need
There are not two certificates.
Yes, and we really need to help each other. What you are presenting here is additional information.
Yes.
But it cannot be worded as a certificate. And right, we must be very clear with the record.
Additional information to the previous certificate.
Exactly. And let the record be straight.
Yes.
Otherwise, the minister cannot say it's coming on the floor to let another certificate or an addendum.
No.
For purposes of, and I said, right, Speaker, we need to help the minister in light of section 76 to put the record straight. I am providing additional information to the certificate that I read on the table.
You know, the difference, there is no difference between an addendum with additional information. That it is just a matter of English. That the honorable members, what is the definition of addendum? An item of additional material added on to. You get it, eh? Yes. Xavier?
Right, Honourable Speaker, thank you very much. And I want to thank the members who have submitted. And we seem to be on the same page. And because of that, right, Honourable Speaker, if I'm allowed, I want to move a motion that we actually proceed to the committee stage, right, Honourable Speaker. I beg to move.
Is it seconded? Is the motion seconded? Seconded by Paulo Bua, Layo, Honorable Layo, Honorable Dubai, Honorable Chora, Sauda, Obama, Fred, Margaret, Mariam, Dr. Chut, Ochan, Sue, Connie, and the whole side, this side, Abe. There's a procedure matter from.
Thank you, Right Honorable.
Now that you've seconded, Those in favor of us going to for the second reading, say at the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Thank you. Right Honorable Speaker, the procedural matter I was raising, which is still relevant, is that both reports of the committee had found that there was no competent certificate of financial implication. In other words, the bill that came here did not have a foundation to rest on it. The cure proposed by the minister, which we are trying to find a solution, was whether what was tabled here as an addendum is actually a new certificate that could support the reading of a bill or not. In law, you cannot have an addendum replacing a certificate. Your chair has not ruled officially. The question has been put here and we are moving. You have not addressed that matter.
Chair of the committee, you're supposed to go on the microphone and say what you're providing is additional information to the certificate that was laid on this table in relation to these bills.
Right Honorable Speaker, I wanted to finish so that you get the gist of what I am raising. What I am saying is, as it is stood in both the reports, there is no certificate of financial implication. Can you then, therefore, purport to provide additional information to a non-existent document? That is the question. And let me explain this to members. The certificate of financial implication helps you as a member of parliament to determine whether to proceed with the bill or not. If you are going to bring a tax bill and the tax bill is going to impose a challenge on your citizens, but you are collecting only, say, 20 billion shillings, as parliament, you can say, because we have seen you are going to collect only 20 billion, then at a cost which is more, we have decided it is no longer relevant to even move with this bill. Now, this bill has not told us in detail that on this particular exercise bill, this is the total amount we are going to collect, so that we determine whether you can actually impose additional charges on Ugandans in fuel, on those cement, on those things. It helps Parliament to move. And we should not reduce the certificate of financial implication as a formality. It helps guide us.
Honorable Attorney General, did we have a certificate of financial implication in the first law?
Madam Chair, sorry.
That is that's number one. Number two, the impact in terms of the revenues to be collected and whichever, were they included in the BFP and MTEP that we can read together with the certificate that was provided for?
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. I think your questions have kind of put more light on what I wanted to say. One, Honorable Dur, it is wrong for you to say there is no certificate. The finding of the committee and the report is here on page 2, says the certificate was inadequate, meaning that something was missing. The statement goes ahead to say it was inadequate in as far as detailing the estimates of revenue is concerned, meaning that you fulfill the inadequacy, you cover the inadequacy by providing the estimates that were not there. It's those estimates that have been provided for in the additional information in the addendum. That makes the certificate of financial implication adequate. I beg to submit.
Yeah, it's finished. Yeah, it's finished, Honorable Dur. No, there was a question. First of all, my very able Minister of Finance, we had gone into, my clerks have slept on job.
The Value Added Tax Amendment Bill 2024, Bills Committee stage.
Byebyo.
Honorable members, I had not put a question for second reading. I did. It was, the one I put was for the motion. I put a question that the Exercise Duty Amendment Bill 2024 be read for the second time. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it.
Byebyo ebya etteeka eddala ate ery'omusolo nga tulina okuwa omusolo paka kuwulira bubi kubanga General Kaguta Museveni takyalina nsimbi bamusalako obuyambi kati buli kamu agenda kukateekako omusolo Munayuganda Awezeza ekijja kyokya kyonna ekiriwo kye tulina okukola kugoba General Museveni tunagoba General Museveni eggwanga lyaffe lijja kutereera kubanga kati bo baagala kubeera nga bali mu ssente nnyingi za kudiibuuda badiibuuda ndiibuude bulabala nga zikendedde bawulira bubi baba balina okwongera okukunyigiriza baddemu bafune ssente ezo ze balina okuba nazo ennyingi kati tulina kukola kimu kujja abagala ssente zennyingi ez'okudiibuuda tuteekewo abalina omulamwa ogw'okuzimba eggwanga lyaffe okuzimba ebyobusuubuzi okuzimba buli Munnayuganda yagalire mu nsi ye nga yekyagulanye Ssentamu Robert Bobi Wine kino Museveni atulabyeko nnyo muzuukuke twetaase tugobe ekinene kyawanga mbaagala nnyo Omukama Katonda ddunda lwe gwannamugereka bataaya bankuumire mweraba